Our family's been here for 10 years now at Dayspring, and we love everything about it. We love that our kids are building community, they're building family with their teachers and their classmates, and they just are learning to love Jesus and grow really, really well with this atmosphere.
It really feels like we're in partnership with Dayspring and helping raise our kids. It's not like we're just sending them off to school and they're getting their education and then coming home, but we're truly partnering with the teachers, with the administration, with the school to help educate our kids, to help them grow spiritually, and ultimately help our daughters become the people that we feel like God wants them to be. So originally we hadn't planned on sending our kids to Dayspring. We were zoned for a school in the district that we weren't really excited about. And Dayspring wasn't on our radar because the cost of it. And a good friend of ours teaches here, and we were talking to her about our plan and what we were going to try to do education-wise for our oldest daughter. And she said, "Hey, you got to check out Dayspring. I know it seems unaffordable, but there's opportunities for you to get scholarships." I was in full-time ministry at that point, and so there was a pastor discount as well. And so we came and did a tour pretty reluctantly, and honestly fell in love with it in the tour. And it was, we really felt like this is where our kids were supposed to be, where our daughter was supposed to be.
The level of investment, I think, is one of the differences that Dayspring offers, is because some of these teachers have had our kiddos more than once, and the way that they pour into the kids feels a little bit different. It feels a little bit like they are more involved, invested in our kids' lives and who they are and who they want to be. And the same thing for me working here. I'm on my 6th year now working as staff member here, and it's just amazing to be able to pour into these kids on a daily basis, on a yearly basis, and you get to really build relationships and bonds with these students, and really feel like you have an impact in who they are and who they're going to be for the kingdom, which is really an amazing blessing to have, and it feels different than at other schools sometimes.
I think the faith-based piece is pretty big too. A lot of people probably assume, like, in a Christian school, all they do is read the Bible and all they do is pray every day. And I think that the outside image may be incorrect. There is a huge faith element to it, but there's a really good education element to it too. It's a strong school for education, but they intertwine the faith piece in there, and understanding that everybody's been made differently, that God creates everybody differently, that everyone has different skill sets, different learning abilities, different passions. And so I think as a faith-based school, I think they embrace that in terms of the kids and really help build an educational experience around who the kid is, and not just what some overarching district or some government agency says this is how you're supposed to teach a kid. It's one track, one way. And so we've seen that a lot, especially with our oldest daughter, who has some learning disabilities, who is ultra creative in the way that she thinks, is very musical. She's had an opportunity to really pour into her style and her learning abilities and her passions and her skill set, which has been pretty impactful for her.
Yeah, the nice thing is it's been now 7 years since then. And some different people have kind of walked into our lives and done this journey with us. But the consistency factor is that has always been true. No matter who it is that's been walking it with us, is from teacher to teacher, from different, gap providers and things like that. Defining moment has always carried through. And so for Sam, she has people that have walked that story with her, and it's always been true and valid. And they've always poured into who she is, and it's never been a definition of that, but it's been just providing the tools for her to utilize. That what defines her is who God has said she is. And so that's what's been amazing, is that no matter who it's been, who's walking with us, it's always been focused on who God's image of Sam is, and not the diagnosis or the definition and the descriptive words and things like that. It's been very personalized, very much pouring into who she is and her heart and her mindset, and it's been almost tailor-made to her, which is true of what I see for every other student in that program, is they tailor it to the individual student. They're not cookie cutters. They're not pushed into a specific framework of this is how it's supposed to be. It's made around the child, which has been really very cool to see.
Yeah, we've had a lot of friends that have gone through a similar experience, not at Dayspring, at public schools, and it's been brutal. They've, hearing their stories of how difficult it's been for them, how their kid wasn't getting the attention they needed, how their child was just treated like another number, like another person with a diagnosis, and to see the contrast in how other kids have been treated with similar stories in different schools to what we've experienced at Dayspring. It's completely night and day. And I should say we have a younger daughter who doesn't have a dyslexia diagnosis, and she's also had an incredible experience. She is our sweet, loving, wants to give everybody a hug, highly emotional, great kid, and it's been fun to watch the same teachers that both of our kids have had pour into our kids in different ways to really help them become the people that God's created them to be.